The air cut against my lungs, sharp and impossible to ignore, and somehow he was everywhere, even in the spaces I thought were mine. I tried to make sense of it, tried to tell myself to step back, to breathe. But my wolf, my instincts, my very blood, it wouldn't listen. Every pulse, every nerve was alive with him. Fear tangled with something I shouldn't want, and the ache settled deep in my bones, whispering truths I wasn't ready to hear. He's close. Too close. And the harder I try to run, the more I feel the bond pulling, reminding me there's no hiding from what connects us. Tomorrow, we'll uncover shadows that linger in ways neither of us can ignore, and the world won't feel the same again. I forced my feet forward, the corridor stretching endless, every step a quiet surrender. And even as panic and longing warred inside me, I knew this chase was never meant to end.
This is Bound to Blood and Moonlight, a good werewolf romance. As always, I read for you, and you enjoy the plot. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let us read. Leora stood in the quiet of her room, back to the door, running mental maps of the packhouse hallways. Which corridors were seldom traveled, which led directly to Damien's office, which stairwells offered a quick, silent escape. Every thought was calculated, every step planned. She needed distance, but her wolf protested immediately, claws digging into her consciousness, a low, frustrated growl vibrating beneath her ribs. Logic demanded caution. Instinct screamed betrayal. Uneasy, she opened the door. The overhead lights flickered, irregular bursts illuminating the corridor. A sharp pulse of pain shot through her ribs, the same ache from the memory shard. 2 cautious steps forward, and the cost was immediate. Her breath caught, tight and ragged. Nausea struck, metallic tang coating her tongue. Her mind argued for safety. Her body felt torn apart from the inside. The bond struck back with undeniable force. A proof she could not ignore. Leora. The name threaded through her mind, a phantom touch she could not escape. She forced herself onward, calculating her path, but a dense, familiar presence halted her abruptly. His scent wrapped around her, earthy and smoky, yet overlaid with a sharp metallic edge she hadn't felt before. The distance she sought evaporated. He was near, and instinctively her wolf bristled. At the end of the hall, a dark, shifting shadow moved beneath a door. He was close enough that even the hint of it made her pulse spike. That was enough. Leora pivoted sharply into another hallway, her steps awkward but fast. Panic overtook her rational mind. Footsteps followed, picking up pace, matching her rush. The cadence was familiar, heavy, driven, slightly off balance, the same rhythm she'd known since childhood when he used to chase her through the woods. Coward, her wolf growled. Raw. Bitter. Not of fear, of betrayal. The mate bond was an anchor she dragged through churning water. Dizziness overtook her. Legs trembling beneath the weight of instinct and memory, she grasped the nearest railing for support. Pain shot down her arm, the deep burn of a childhood injury flaring to life. The physical echo of old trauma shattered her defenses. Why did it feel like then? Guilt slammed into her next, jagged and immediate. Her jaw clenched, resisting the pull to turn back. Her wolf clawed weakly at her mind. "You're hurting him," it accused, silent but absolute. Even her animal half felt frail, weakened by the bond strain. Ringing filled her ears. Edges of vision blurred. The bond's decay was accelerating, and she couldn't escape its reach. Her internal war snapped when the footsteps abruptly stopped around the corner. She froze, terror coiling into her chest. Instinct screamed to run, yet the mate bond pulled, demanding she move forward. And then she felt it. His fear. Raw. Unfamiliar. Not control, but the agony of potential loss. Light spilled in a narrow strip where the wall met the floor, broken by a mass of darkness. His shadow stretched toward her, pulse hammering in her ears. Compelled, Leora stepped forward, a mistake her mind didn't sanction. She nearly collided with him as he rounded the corner, halting abruptly. For a suspended second, his chest was inches from hers. The proximity triggered the bond, violent, agonizing. His breath brushed her cheek like fire. Pain blossomed across her body, mirroring the shape of her childhood wound. Not just terror, aching longing and sharp, unbearable agony. She gasped, a broken sound she barely recognized, and bolted blindly down the stairs. The narrow stairwell forced her to an abrupt halt. She collapsed against the cold metal door, hands pressing into the biting chill. Frantic panic gave way to a horrified clarity. The pattern of fear, the echoes of the past. They weren't just memories. She had screamed like this as a child. bone-deep terror carved into her body. Trembling, she slid down the door, reality pressing against her in jagged shards. What happened to me? Pushing off the door, Leora rounded the final corner and burst through the outside doors. Cold air slapped her face, a harsh physical demand to wake. Her flight became deliberate now, a numb retreat from the bond's raw pull. Pain in her arm and ribs flared with the distance, yet she ran, instinct overriding everything. She recognized the pattern, desperate escape, raw emotion mirroring the night she had nearly died. A thin, insistent sound cut through the bond. Damien's voice, strained and urgent. "Leora, come back." The fading presence of her proximity struck Damien like a physical blow. Pain lanced through his chest. Days of deliberate distance had frayed his composure. Her panicked retreat shattered it entirely. He fought the urge to follow, knowing pursuit would drive her farther. With a growl of restraint, he gripped the edge of his desk until the wood cracked. His claws flexed involuntarily, a warning sign of his wolf's rising panic. The air thickened, sharp with ozone, metallic with fear. He forced his hands from the desk, swallowing humiliation. Two betas paused their patrol nearby, murmuring softly. Damien knew the words he couldn't hear clearly. Bond sickness. The phrase cut through him, stripping away authority, making him feel powerless. He steadied himself, speaking into the comm unit with dangerous calm. The guards were to keep him isolated in his office for the day. Protection, but also denial, knowing proximity would trigger his wolf's overwhelming urge. Pain coiled in his chest, a soft, wounded growl escaping, a whispered echo of her name. His wolf whimpered for the closeness he had denied. The isolation shattered when a new jolt of agony struck through the bond. Her terror, now a physical echo in him. He pressed a hand to his ribs, burning in the same pattern as her childhood injury. Panic flared. He felt her fear and assumed he caused it. Recognition came with chilling clarity. The pain mirrored her past. Why did it feel so familiar? Determination hardened. If this pattern was a memory, he had to uncover it. He moved to the wall safe, unlocking the deepest pack files. A drawer clicked open. Old incident reports lay within. His breath caught, hand trembling over her name. Fear warred with duty. He feared what he might find, what truths would shatter the bond further. He pulled the folder free. Incident report, Leora, age 5. He opened it, then immediately shut it without reading. The rustle of paper sounded deafening. Fear of the truth, its power to destroy what remained of their connection, won. "Not yet," he whispered, though his voice trembled with the knowledge he wouldn't hold the promise long.